We've wanted this. Now we have it. Caol Ila. When I pick this up and I look at it, it reminds me of the original Hobbit Tolkien art that was on the first Lord of the Rings stuff. Deep reality sort of masked by a little bit of cartoon animation touch and feel, brought out by an artistic style. And if you look really carefully and start to feel the image, you can see that we're in the ocean, approaching the shore of the island. Looks like a working boat coming in to what I imagine is the distillery. Caol Ila 12-year-old is as rounded and clear as the shapes of the still room, glimpsed by hazy shafts of sunlight glancing through the morning cloud. Caol Ila Distillery, Port Ascaig, Isle of Islay. So when you say Islay, you throw down a gauntlet of quality. And tonight's adventure takes us to a lesser known of the distilleries. You think of Ardbeg, Laphroaig, Lagavulin, but you don't always think of Caol Ila. It's an adventure. This is what I like about this. This is something different from somewhere special. A 1 liter sitting at 43%. First seen in 1846. Here are those spicy sea air aromas and sweet, smoky dry flavors, elegantly expressed with a clarity and balance that come from perfect maturation. Well, that's saying a lot. Let's see if the whiskey stands up to its own self-hype. Let's just see. Whoop, nice. A little touch there. Plain inside, plain black top. Here she comes. Let's see what the bottle looks like. Whoa, it's mammoth, eh, at 1 liter? Look at the size of them. It reminds me almost exactly of the Lagavulin bottle. Secret malt is nonetheless highly prized among devotees of Islay style, not as poignant as some of its neighbors. Caol Ila combines an unmistakable Islay character with sublime drinkability. So does that just mean it's easier to drink? Perhaps. Take the top off. Remove the crown. Love that. Okay, here we go. Loosen. Oh, it's a big bottle. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Okay, that's encouraging. Right away you smell smoke. Right away. Here we go. So coming out of the smoky green bottle has little tiny touches of amber. It has a gold color. It's a plain looking, light colored whiskey. And you can see there's a little bit hanging up in the glass, which means that this has some body to it. There's undertones of peat. They're not pronounced, but still shapes some of the character. But there's another smell there. There's a sweetness. I don't know if it's fruit. I guess it is. Kind of a pear or maybe an apple, but it's nice. It all comes back to, okay, what I've heard about Caol Ila and how that might affect how I'm thinking right now. And when you're on the precipice of trying the scotch and you're trying to work out everything to position yourself to really enjoy what it is you're drinking, it's a lot, and that's what I'm looking to enjoy in just a second here. So cheers. Wow. Much more powerful than I thought it was going to be. It's tasty. It has some smoke, some salt. It does have some fruit. So all those things you smell in the nose come across on the palate. The difference, and what I didn't expect, was a flooding intensity of flavor. I thought it would be more subtle. And I think it's subtle in complexity, it's subtle in smoke and peat, but it's not subtle in sort of a rising flavor that really has a moment on your tongue. Yeah, much less intense on the second one. It's like the first one really prepares your palate and kind of blows through it, and it's a little bit testing. The second one, it has a nice beginning. It sort of has a steady roll, and then it ceases to be there. So the finish is light. It gets easier to drink each time. It is a subtle Islay for sure. I mean, there's a nice smoke in the mouth. There's a bit of thickness, a bit of coating in the mouth. Not too much though. The finish is very straightforward. It just disappears. There's not much going on there. The flavor initially on the first taste was quite robust. Once you got into your second and thirds, it really just kind of mellowed. And yeah, I don't like to say mellow, but there it is. I'm not disappointed. But yeah, I mean, now my mind is starting to go, okay, well, how do you call this an Ila? And I say that with respect. I do think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful tasting thing. It's a bit of a side hug, you know, it's a bit of a like, you know, you've had a tough day, just come here and I'm just gonna, you know, it's not like, it doesn't get you going in any way, shape or form. It doesn't get your blood sort of, whoa. It's an easy ranking actually. It's not a cheap scotch. This one came back from duty free in Mexico for about $125 Canadian. Now you did get a liter for that price, which I appreciate. Heading into it, I was thinking an easy 3, but when you're thinking of it in terms of a $120 bottle of scotch, you might have to go a 2 here. You have to have it on your bar if you love Ilas. Only to maybe provide a contrast to the other bottles of scotch that are really butt-kicking. It kind of proves the point that just because you share a smaller geography, it doesn't mean that you automatically get to have all the characteristics that some of the other scotches have. So unfortunately, and it kills me to put a 2 on this, because it's a lovely scotch, but just too expensive. So I'd love to come ashore and visit Caol Ila on Ila, because I bet you I'd be heading to Lafroig. Cheers. Such a big box. Such a big box.